Hi guys, this is Kendra with Truest TV, and I'm back with another video. Y'all, I'm just doing me a nice little video diary. You know, if you are like me in your 30s and you are waiting on the Lord to bless you with your God-ordained spouse. You know, I was reading in the book of I was reading about King David and how, you know, he was going through some things and he had to enlighten himself in the Lord, and how he enlightened himself in the Lord was bringing in remembrance of how the Lord delivered him, you know, in his prior situations. So this is what my video diary is basically doing. It is me enlightening myself in the Lord in my time away, y'all. So, and how the Lord got me out of some sketchy situation, you know. And so let me just give you a little perspective about me. This was probably this photo was taken back in probably 2004. This is before filters, y'all. So everything in which you see is my face. Okay, the only thing I could do with this filter is make it go in all fours. This was before filters, y'all. So this is me. At the time, I was about 240 pounds, y'all, and I'm 5'4". So I met this guy. I was one of those girls who dated very young. I, started dating really young, and I lost my virginity very young. And so, I was dating a lot young and had, boyfriends, this, that, and the third. But for some reason, around my adult age, 20, I don't know, somewhere around my 20s, I just took a hiatus off dating. I was not dating anybody. And I had not had sex since I was 17. So in this photo, I'm probably like 25 years old, I believe. And I had not had sex with anybody since I was 17. So I met this gentleman, and how I met him was so adorable to me. After having this long hiatus of not dating, I finally met this very attractive guy. Now, how we met is, at the time, I was 25, and no, I did not know how to drive. I did not have my license to drive. I didn't know how. I was afraid of driving at the time. So I was walking with my mother to Family Dollar. If y'all know, right? So I was walking with my mother to Family Dollar, and we live in New York, not New York City. We live in Suffolk County. We live in Long Island. And so, there was a highway that ran through where the Family Dollar was. And so me and my mom was walking to the Family Dollar to get into the story. Me and my mom was walking to the Family Dollar, and walking to the Family Dollar, for some reason, I got an intuition, is the best way to put it, to look back. And I looked back, and it was, it's the highway. It's a lot of cars on the highway. But I did notice a car. Now, it stood out to me. I don't know why. But, anyway, the person in the car, I didn't really get to see because the windows were dark. But it was like a bluish BMW. I remember that. Of course, I remember it. Anyway, long story long is the bluish BMW, along with every other car, passed the Family Dollar, right? So me and my mom, I looked back, but then I proceeded to go into the Family Dollar. So I went into the Family Dollar, right? So out of nowhere, the same blue BMW that I seen coming to the parking lot. So I guess I thought to myself, oh, they're coming in here to get something. Mind you, I seen it pass, cut, I didn't know it cut back around, but I seen it pull up real quick and get into the parking lot and drive into the parking spot in the parking lot. And so I just proceeded to put stuff in the basket, help my mom, shop at Family Dollar or whatever. So anyway, I'm putting stuff in my basket and I'm not thinking anything, right? So of course, as I said, before, there was a man who stepped out of that same, dark blue BMW. And, me putting stuff in my mother's cart, this man walks up to my mother. This fine man. Oh my God. Y'all don't even understand. He was so fine. I know I'm silly. He was so fine. So this man proceeds to go to my mother and say, "Your daughter is beautiful," right? And he said, can I get your permission to take her out on a date? Now, me, I had a long hiatus. I'm like, who, me? Like, this, I'm like, me? Because you got to understand, at the time I was 5'4", 200, and as y'all can see, 200 and about 40 pounds. And I was big. This me and my youngest sister, Katrina. And so I was just like, me? Or whatever. And so he was like, yes, you're beautiful. He said, I want to take you out on a date. And I was like, you know, my mother's so cute. She goes, well, you got to ask me. I mean, you know, she'll go if she want to. And so I seen this fine man, and all I could think is, yes. Yes. And what made me say yes even more, because I wasn't saying yes to every old body, was the way he asked. He asked my mama first, and I just thought that was just so cute. You know, you only see silly stuff like that on TV. So I'm a hopeless romantic. That was so cute. You got my yes. Not to mention he was fine as all get out. At the time, I didn't know much about cars, so that didn't appease me. I didn't care about that. I just know it was a BMW now because, you know, I know a little bit more about. I drive, y'all. I drive. So anyway, he asked me out. We exchanged numbers, and that was that. So I got a call the same day, and he said I got a call the same afternoon, and he was like, listen, I want to take you out I think it was like a Thursday or Friday night. A Thursday or Friday afternoon. It wasn't at night, y'all, because listen, I don't know why. When I was young, I was very free-spirited. I was no hoe. I only had one boyfriend. But I had dated him long enough, right? But anyway, but I was very much more free-spirited in a way that I was a little bit more, I don't know, I was a little bit more opening to go out on a date, but for some reason I had an unknown fear of men that I didn't notice until I got grown, that it was deep, and I was afraid to really go with him on a date by myself. So I did go I think I went to the first few dates by myself with him. But anyway, so that Friday I went on, a couple of dates with this. I went on that date that Friday night, and it was amazing. He took me to I think it was a nice bistro restaurant. And it was, what was it? Was it bistro? No, it was Smoking Bones. What am I talking about? It is kind of a bistro, but if you will, it was Smoking Bones. We went on a date at Smoking Bones, and it was really nice. He, ordered me some nice food. He paid. He was sweet. I was always very shy. Even though I was very outspoken, if I didn't know you, I was very shy. I'm still kind of like that, especially on a date. I'm more outspoken now, but I was very shy, and I'm still kind of like that. So I was very shy or whatever. But anyway, long story long is, he was I know I had but I'm talking even now. He was the best boyfriend that I had ever had. He was the very first man to show me, to allow me to stay in my femininity and show me how a man shows up to you. Like, let me explain. So we went out on a date it was a Red Lobster, right? And again, I told you I had a fear of being with men by myself. I don't know why I went, but I guess the fear started to really get to me. So I called my sister and say, we going to Red Lobster. I just want you to know if you could just come, So he knew I was afraid, and he respected it. He knew that there was a fear there, and that's why I like him even more, because he understood. Like, he was like, it's all right if you're not comfortable. It's all right if you're like. He just was one of the best. Listen, he was amazing. So anyway, long story long, we went to Red Lobster, right? And he's a very attractive man. Now, to give you a perspective, he was a Tanzanian man. He was from Africa, but he looked Arabic, kind of. He looked like a mixture between an Arabic and black man, right? And so he was fine. That's the best way to put him. He was fine, let me tell you. And he was like, I think he was 6 feet, right? And so he was fine. And we were talking, chit chat, and he was the very first man to introduce me into eating what you call that, what is it called? I can't think. It's not snails, but the other things that's in the shit. I can't. Clams. There it is. Clams. And they were disgusting, baby. But he was like, oh, you don't like it? He ordered us some. Listen, he paid. And let me just tell you, not only when he saw he understood when I called my sister how I was feeling, so he respected it. And to mind you, at the time I had my half sister with me, my sister too. Not only did this man pay for my meal, but he knew I don't know if he knew they were my sisters just yet until he realized, oh, that's her sister. And he paid even for their meal. Now, I didn't ask him to do that. He just did that. He was like, oh, he understood me. I don't know, like, I would have to explain deeper and this would be too long. Just know that we were dating for a couple of months, right? By this time, we went to Red Lobster. We would have been dating for a couple of months. And I was still not comfortable yet. Don't ask me why. I just wasn't. And so anyway, he understood that I still had like a fear, and he respected it. And he paid for my sister and the meal or whatever. But that wasn't it. So him being an attractive man and me being 200 and something pounds, and we had this waitress. Now this girl was a white girl, right? And I don't know what possessed her to do this, but so we ordered. We ordered our food. She proceeded to give him his food. Now she gave him his food. She looking him all up in his face, making googly eyes with him because he fine, right? I make googly eyes with him. He fine. So she proceeded to, hand him his stuff. And the reason she proceeded to hand him his food, she put his drink down. She handed him his stuff. She put my drink down, but when she handed me my girl, baby, let me just say, she threw, and I had me some pasta Alfredo. Baby girl threw my plate. No, y'all. She slung my plate at me. Like, baby was haterade. She drank the haterade before she came to work, baby, and was fully pumped with adrenaline. Baby girl threw my plate. Now, y'all know me. I was shy, but I wasn't crazy. He was the very first man. He was the very first man to let me stay in my femininity. Very first man to protect my peace, baby. I'm telling you. So when I pray about my husband, I say, God, that's a requirement. A man that protect my peace. Baby, I was going to cut, and he knew I was going, this is before my sister and them had got there, y'all. Baby girl threw my baby food, the Alfredo slung out. He saw my face. He put his hand toward me in a way of, it's all right, baby. And he looked at her and said in his sexy baritone, don't come back to this table. She said, what? He said, listen, do not come back to this table. You understand? He didn't cuss out, because I would have been turned off had he cussed out. Because you cuss out, that means you cuss me out. But he, in his nice, sexy baritone, he said, do not come back. You understand? Don't come back to this table. So she had to do the walk of shame, go back to her manager and say, I can't go to their table. Her manager came over there with the quickness like, sir, ma'am, how are you guys doing today? I mean, how's your service? He said, listen, she cannot come back to this table at all. You understand? Manager says, enough said. I don't know what she did, but she did something. He said, now, can somebody clean this food up? For my girl, clean this food. Oh, so the manager looking at her like, what you do? Listen, I kept my, I didn't have to say nothing. Food was cleaned up. Baby, we got free food. What can we do for you, sir? What can we do for you, man? Baby, we got free food. It was the first time, y'all, that a man let me, not only did he do it respectfully, but I was able to hold my peace, stay in my femininity. I ain't had to do nothing because he understood she was hating. He understood he was fine and she wanted him, right? But he said, hold your peace. I didn't have to do nothing. And after that, we got free food, free drinks. And we continued just on. He was just such a decent man. Now, I know people going to say, well, if he was so decent, baby, why are you single now? Because his situation was a situation that God did not want for me. This man, his fine self, he was married, but divorced. Now, if you learn about God and you're into the word, you know that though Moses okayed divorce, Jesus Christ did not. You cannot be divorced at all. Not only was this man divorced, he was divorced, living with the woman, even if it was separation. He was living with the woman where his apartment was at the top, hers was at the bottom. He had 2 children. He had a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, right? And all this matter, right? So now I know at the time I did not know, but then I had learned about his divorce and everything, and I did not know what to do. I didn't have anybody to consult about the situation, but I wasn't the smartest girl. I was very naive when I don't know why, very ditzy, very naive. But for some reason it came to my mind that this wasn't right to be with him. So I Googled, what should I do? This man, I'm 25, and this man is divorced, but he lives on top of, he lives on top of that woman. And I just thought of all the factors. He could still have sex with this woman if he want. Their kids only 2 and 4. I didn't want to be no stepmom. I had no kids of my own. I was 25. I was young. So I just Googled, and a lot of people did not speak favorably about it. It said, what would that look like for your children? People sometimes play favoritism with the children that they had in previous marriages. And I dumped him. He was a great guy. Everything was great. He was more than I expected. Very good guy. He was very nice, sweet, just patient and kind. He was very affectionate. He was very much of what I know I needed. He protected my peace, everything. So, but the circumstance was no good. And the reason why I say God delivered me is because God knew that I would come into the enlightenment to know, matter of factly, that a man cannot divorce and get remarried. My children would have been cursed. And I would have cursed my children if I would have been with him and had my children in wedlock. My children, even if we were married to each other, would have still been born in wedlock due to the fact that you cannot get married and divorce. So God, I didn't even know, was protecting me. And when I enlightened myself in the Lord, I realized, why did God protect me from that? There's so many women who could have gotten into that situation, had babies, got married to that man, and had their children, and live, happily but ungodly ever after. But for me, he put it in my mind to say, you don't want this. He put it in my mind and removed that from me. And I had to think, why? Because he had something better for me. He was like, that's not what I want for you. That's not what he wants for me. And I was like, and I thought about it. Who am I? I'm not that special. Why would he put it in my mind to break up with this man who was perfect, in my opinion? But it just, for some reason, it weighed heavy on me. And I couldn't do it. And I called him up one day and I said, I can't deal with the fact that you married. And I love his response, because even then he was respectful. He was like, you really can't? I said, no. And he said, I respect your decision, I respect your decision. And he was like, he wished me good well and everything. And it was just, wow. But I realized that was God letting me know, I have another man for you who's going to just be yours. Only yours. A God-fearing man. That's not what he wanted for me. So I had to enlighten myself in the Lord and realize God has gotten me out of a lot of situations. And if you know that to be your truth, stay steadfast in your faith, believe on him, and enlighten yourself in God. And so I'm saying all that to say is, y'all make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. If you got a comment down below, if you can relate and when God has saved you, enlighten yourself. Put it down below and maybe I'll post it, y'all. This is Kendra with True TV. Stay up, stay blessed, put God first above all else. Peace out, y'all.